What up, guys and girls? Another brand new video coming at you today. Yes, we are back again for another round of AOR Oceania F1 for season number 4. We can here, as you can see, at the Chinese Grand Prix. You can see who finished where last season on the podium and who got pole position. And it's actually the track that I got my best ever qualifying result, actually, this time last season, with position number 2, actually, on the ultra soft tyres, albeit. But anyway, it felt like a good victory that day, but you remember last season, it was chaos. There's the driver standings on your screen. You can check out where your favourite driver is at the current moment. We're currently in position 13 with a single point that we somehow got in Bahrain, but Ferrari got a 30-point gap over Force India, and Toro Rosso down in position number 9. But you join us here in China, where it's, a little bit wet to start with. But let's put this in perspective to start with, obviously. We had a few little issues to start with along the way. Update?
We're looking at another 5, maybe 10 minutes of this rain. Dries seem like the fastest tyre at the moment.
I'm not sure, can't remember off the top of my head how many minutes I wasted of this qualifying session, but there was a few issues to deal with because there was a few people that had left the session. I'm not sure because of disconnects or whatnot, but 2 people obviously in Master Berserk and Harry Ryan. Harry actually pressed spectator mode and not ready up. So he could probably blame himself a little bit there for picking spectator mode. I don't know whether he just pressed the wrong, or he put it on the wrong button or something, but that's what happened. So pretty much it was a bit of the early part of the session was trying to send invites to those guys and trying to get them back into the lobby, even if they were, I think, well, Berserk was definitely in his car. I'm not sure what was going on with he was, can't remember, with Berserk anyway. But you see here, obviously, join us at a wet, like I said, a wet track. Well, it was light rain, let's put it that way. It wasn't fully wet, but we're out here on the medium tyres, so it is, obviously you heard earlier that this weather will definitely improve for later on in the qualifying session here. So it's just pretty much just basically doing laps around the Shanghai International Circuit. As you're getting a little bit sideways coming out of this sort of the, what do you call it, the carousel bit? I'm not even sure, but turns 12 and 13 here. Just trying to basically get a lap time in and see what the pace is like here, and trying to keep the soft tyre for as late in the session as possible. Getting a little bit sideways there coming out of the hairpin at turns 14 and 15 as I think we took the Bono out there coming around the final corner, but when we come across the line, it's 50.1. It's nowhere. It's way off the pace. We're sitting currently in position 3 at the current moment, but like I mentioned, it is early days here. A bit of a brake lock up there going into turn number 6 here. You see the tyres will definitely get a lot quicker there as Big Chungus, which of course, if you haven't already known, is Warden. Probably the 99-bit gives it away. So he currently has provisional pole at the moment, but we're just keeping on trucking along.
I think the track will be drying out quite soon. Mind you don't burn out your tyres.
Just coming out of the hairpin here, just got on the power a little bit here and have to do pretty much a full 360 here, and thankfully there wasn't nobody around me. I was on track to probably improve my lap time at this point, but
this rain should be ending shortly. We should see a dry line start to form fairly rapidly, so make sure to cool your tyres down the straights. Dries seem like the best tyre for now.
So I thought I was tempted to come into the pit lane and maybe wait a little bit and then go out on the set of soft tyres, which we will be qualifying on for this race. But you definitely have to avoid the ultra softs around here, because remember from last season, they only last like 3, even 4 laps at best. So you best avoid those ultra soft tyres if you can. There's the strategy around here is pretty much softs to mediums. Pretty much just trying to set laps here. There was a few guys actually, you could probably tell, is that Matt actually set his time on the intermediate tyres, so it was sort of a bit half and half. Well, earlier on it was probably just wet enough for the inters, but was starting, like I said, was starting to dry out a little bit more here later on in the qualifying session here. But
we have 2 laps of fuel remaining.
Well, this will be the current lap time at the moment here, but I mean, yeah, like I said, it's early days as Berserk again leads the session, so he was having massive issues getting into the lobby, or whether
P6
his internet issues, I'm not sure, but puts us up into position 6, just behind DRC Jarrett, and just ahead of
we can take you this lap.
Death Row as we now come into the pit lane here. As I don't get how that's an invalidation, because most people usually take the pit lane that way, so yeah, I was a little bit puzzled when we were coming into the pit lane, because, yeah, anyway, that is what it is. But I was, like I said, back in the pits, just going to get off the medium tyres and just pretty much wait it out here. We've got 6.5 minutes left, so you can see here, I mean, there wasn't predicted of rain, but the rain just sort of came out of nowhere there. Just the weather conditions on Codemasters games is just all over the place. Sometimes you'll be able to see where your favourite driver is.
Lap times are dropping. Looks like track conditions are starting to improve.
A few quick guys that have still yet to set lap times, including Alan Hugo, probably Master Berserk there as well. But Venz leads at the moment on a set. I think it was on the soft tyres. I'm not exactly too sure here, but about 3.5 maybe minutes to go here. We went back out. You can see there's a few guys here. I think originally I was planning to set a lap time on this lap, but once I saw most of these guys coming out of the pit lane, I sort of aborted a little bit here and sort of changed into like a warm-up lap, because usually lap 1, I mean, it's not ideal to set your lap time on like one lap set of used tyres anyway, but I mean, sometimes other drivers may be able to get away with it here, but others can't, so needed probably another warm-up lap here just to get your tyres warm enough here. But finding space was a little bit difficult around this joint. As you can see, we let, I think, Prez actually go through there. We were setting off to set off on a fly here, but really was held up a little bit there. If I actually continued on straight ahead, I would have easily nailed Jarrett in the back there, and that's probably not what I wanted. I mean, to be honest, I was a bit furious if that happened, but I think he was a little bit put off by Prez there, because he was on a lap time and he was just getting himself ready. So, like the real life Chinese Grand Prix, to be honest, when what was it, Max Verstappen got caught out big time there. I think a few guys may have got caught out maybe in this qualifying session, but we'll wait and see anyway. But I think someone behind me is probably getting a nice slipstream there. Not exactly sure who it is. Might be Williams or someone else. But anyway, this is actually my fastest lap of the session. So we're currently way down in a P15, but I knew I had much better pace a little bit. So coming around turns 8 and now into the tricky turn 9 and 10 section. The only, a couple of left-handers through here. Now sizing up this sort of turn 11 and 12 section. Well, definitely improving our lap times. He just missed the apex a little bit there. What are we up by? About 3.6 seconds at second 2. So lap times were definitely dropping. I think Fenz has got provisional pole at the current moment. But, I can't really tell. Might be actually one of the 4 Indians. Might be Top Banter behind, who's getting a nice slipstream from me.
Last lap moved you into P17.
Now sizing up the hairpin here. Just sort of dry enough, but went a little bit too deep there. Just managed to get it into the corner there, but now dropped all the way down to position 17. I think we're pretty much dead last, so this is pretty much a one-lane lap. Come across the line, we jump up in position, well, it was 8, but now we've jumped all the way back to position 10. As you can see here, I'm still trying to get invites to those guys that are having issues early on in the session here, but yeah, we end up finishing up in position 10 with a 1 minute 42.513. Not quite quick enough as Fenz, who sets pole just ahead of DRC Jarrett and Alan Hugo. Both Ferraris are there, and you got HO, Big Chungus, RBR, Top Banter is that Matt, and myself in 10th, obviously. Laggy sats outside the 10 in 11th, and my teammate as well, way down in, I think it was P15 or something. I think Master Berserk didn't even set a lap time, so he's going to have to come back through the field. But it's time to go racing here at the Chinese Grand Prix.
risks going into the first corner. With this many cars, someone's going to try to squeeze through a gap that isn't there.
That's definitely going to be the case. Thank you, Jeff. Welcome to the grid for the Chinese Grand Prix. Race strategy-wise, obviously, it is going to be the one stop, but there is potential for a bit of rain a little bit later on. We're not 100% sure exactly when it'll fall, but they're saying a bit later on in the last two icons. Probably thinks it's more later in the race, but anything can happen in this race anyway, as we're about to set off now for the formation lap here in from position 10.
Launch map is good, but we need to learn the gears, so go into each one when you can. We're going to need some work on the brakes, so put some energy into them and warm the tyres as well, please.
Yeah, thank you, Jeff. So, yeah, just trying to warm up the tyres as best I can here, trying to get the brakes up to temp as well.
Rain is forecast in just over 10 minutes time. Rain in 10 minutes.
Yeah, what did I say? This rain is probably coming maybe a lot earlier than I think I was anticipating. I'm not sure whether anybody else was anticipating, as Berserk was pretty much the only one that was disqualified from the formation lap. But yeah, the rain may play a factor a little bit earlier than predicted. So interesting to see here. I think the guys probably on the medium tyres here, like lagging behind in P11, who had a free choice, and anybody who starts on the medium tyres may have a little bit of an advantage because they could take their tyres a lot longer and maybe get to the wet period and just
chuck on the lights.
Chuck it on.
The start sequence will begin as soon as the grid has formed. Be ready with the clutch.
They can get off them and straight onto the intermediate tyres. Wait and see. But here we go. We're all set here for round number 3 here of AOR Oceania. 5 red lights. Let's do it around China, and it's a pretty decent start. We did get a decent jump ahead of Matt there, but Top Banter didn't quite get a good run there. It's already the chaos is happening into turn 1 here. Everybody, a few people going side by side there. We're just starting to stay ahead of Matt here, who just gets ahead going into turn 2. Into turn 3. We're trying to get a nice run here out of turn 3, which we're still around the outside here, so we might actually get the line here going into turn number 6 here. This is already carbon fibre, looks like flying every which way, so squeeze Matt out of the road here, and with that we actually get R8 up into a P10 there as well. So Matt's already dropped spots as RBR going very wide there. Wonder maybe if he was the car that maybe got caught up in the little bit of carbon fibre that went flying a little bit earlier on. But wait and see here as just probably settling into a...
That's a decent start. Good job.
Settling into a rhythm here at the current moment as pretty much everyone's in single file here from the looks of things. The big fans has it's got a decent start here. It's trying to get a decentish run here at the final corner, and RBR's really struggling out of that final, the carousel section there. A little bit of a lag moment there where it could have ended badly for myself, or probably for him as well, but there we go. We should get the run up here going into the hairpin. Inside line here, have to brake really early just to make the corner. Just make it. I don't know why I put myself back in the neutral there, but anyway, managed to get past RBR and get up into position 8, but I think RBR is actually coming into the pits, so I dare say he was the one that got caught up in a little bit of damage earlier on, and someone else in the pit lane as well. I think that's Berserk, I could be wrong. Must be the other Salvador, because the other one's leading the race. So
fantastic. 2 cars at once. Very well done.
Yeah, I make of it what you will for Jeff, but I thought Jeff was high a little bit there because I did not make 2 moves in one go. But anyway, update.
We think we may see some rain. ETA is about 15 minutes. Dries seem like the fastest tyre at the moment.
I was sort of constantly just getting weather updates, just like asking when the weather was going to come. It was a little bit deep there going into the hairpin there, but we're on to lap 4 here, about to begin lap number 5, because not much really happened, to be honest. It's just pretty much all on our own here, and we'll cut another couple of laps here as we just run a little bit
strategy
wide.
is available on the MFT.
Already we're getting a strategy call to change onto, but was not having none of that really. So end of sort of lap 6 now. You see Top Banter is sort of dropping back towards us a little bit more here, so
copy.
You see there, they're trying to get onto the medium tyres a bit early there, but an update.
Okay, gap ahead is 2.2 seconds. You're dropping back by around 0.2 each lap. They're on old softs. Their tyres are 5 laps old. The time last lap was a 1 minute 36.7.
so he hasn't got penalties yet, neither do I, but yeah, R8 behind. Just what's the wording? I can't even think of it at this stage, but anyway, we'll come back to that in a second. Here's a replay from Fence, a fairly decent start off the line. Left DRC Jarrett in his wake, pretty much, and unchallenged pretty much going into turn 1 here, but we'll make sure we cover the inside line here going into turn 2, and he managed to do so. Let's have a look here on board with RBR and the Red Bull. So we're going side by side here with other Williams and Death Row. As Charlie Chungus and Alan Hugo are pretty much, I think, 1 and 2 in the championship at the moment. They're going side by side here, and just trying to work out what tyres Warden's on at the moment. Can't really tell. I think he's on the mediums, but unless that's a tyre glitch, I'm not really sure. But you see RBR slotted back in behind Death Row here. I probably didn't even realise Death Row braked a lot earlier than then, but that will explain why he's got the front wing damage here. But you see going through this left-hander, he probably won't have anything going through this left-hander, hence why he lost his spot to top banter there. And I think it was that replay of obviously me getting past. He actually broke early there and just let me go there, but R8 looks on the inside there. Not quite close enough there. We'll get a replay of R8's view of that a little bit in a second, but you see RBR straight into the pit lane already. So he has to get that front wing changed. This was on board with R8. You see, it was probably a little bit of a touch there. Didn't feel like one on my screen there with myself and Matt, but that was what got R8 the move up the inside there. You see, R8 giving us a little nudge. Actually, he got a nudge back from Matt there. But this was the close move he tried to make on RBR going into the hairpin there, but not quite close enough there. As we're now on to lap 6 now. This is Jared. Look at the slipstream he's got here with that DRS open here, and easily got past for the race lead, the effective race lead actually.
You can win that place back.
The fence doesn't really put up much of a fight there, but now cutting on to the end of lap 7 now. You can see top banter, like I was mentioning, starting to gain a little bit more time. The tyre wear wasn't looking too brilliant, but you said we're closing in a little bit on top banter. We got R8 behind. It was having consistent pace behind me. It was making sure I sort of kept on my toes a little bit there, because if I make one little mistake, he was there ready and waiting to pounce there. So sort of keeping me on my toes a little bit, like I mentioned. So it was a yellow flag actually on the front straight. Looked like the other Sauber actually. I think it's Mars Berserk. Here we go. Here's a replay on board with Berserk. So what's happens here? He goes around the final corner here. Gets on the curb. Oh, hold on to it, Berserk. Oh, gets away with not even touching the wall. Full 360. Thankfully, no one else was around there. So be thanking his lucky stars there that he's still in this race, but albeit down in 18th position here. Now here's RBR trying to make his way through the field again up the inside of Calbo, and gets that move done into turn 6. Next up is obviously my teammate Plenio Montero. Again, I apologise if I got that pronunciation wrong, but he's obviously on the soft tyres. RBR doesn't really muck around too much here. Right around the outside here into turn 9. It gets the move done. Nice work from RBR. A little bit sideways there, but quite easily up the pace.
Less than a second separate you. They're on old softs. Their tyres are 7 laps old. The time last lap was a 1:36.0.
Yeah, like I was saying, R8 is still there or thereabouts behind me, so not giving up a bit of a fight here, albeit my leg probably is not ideal, but
okay, looks like you're running on some slightly worn rubber at this point. You should still have a fair amount of grip left, but be mindful, it's going to start falling away.
Lap 9 here, you can see we've finally got into the DRS of Top Banter. Like I mentioned, his pace sort of dropped away a little bit, and he dropped away from the guys ahead. I'm not sure exactly who the next guy ahead is, to be honest, so you probably see it. I think it's Death Row, to be honest. So anyway, on to lap number 10 we go. We're still closing down here on Toppy B into turn 1. Again, not trying to do any silly moves here. Don't really want to for any risky dive bombs. I do think about it occasionally for risky dive bomb, but again, I don't really want to affect any of the, well, for any position anyway. Don't want to go to the stewards and get a penalty anyway. Try and get a penalty from anyway. But anyway, back to go to RBR, who's still making his way through the field. This is next cab off the rank, Kaiwas. Around the outside he goes into turn 6 and easily gets that move done. So now puts himself into position 14. He gives a little weave there to Kaiwas saying thank you, I think, for that one. So nice job from those guys. But just continuing a bit further on back to us. We're still around the slipstream here with Top Banter. We're really starting to close in here. It did tempt me to have a look at the inside here into the hairpin, but just one quite close enough at this point. And again, R8 behind who's...
Okay, don't think we're far away from some rain. I'll keep you updated as the conditions change.
And that was the other point as well, because that wet weather's definitely not too far away. Lap 11. As I think the man in second place, Fence, has actually come into the pit lane, so he's gone for trying a bit of an undercut, I think, on Jared. You see Top Bands going very wide, going through into turns 2 and into 3, so looks like we got a bit more pace at the latter stages of the tyre life compared to Top Banter by the looks of things, but still hanging on for the time being at the moment is Toppy B. It's not doing anything silly here, and I was sort of, with that weather report that Jeff told me, I was sort of toying up the idea, like, what tyres do I go on? Should I stick with the mediums or maybe go on to another set of soft tyres and maybe just wait for that wet weather period to come and then just put the intermediates on? And it was sort of toying on my mind a little bit then what strategy to go on, but there was a replay. Ben's getting back ahead of Prez. That puts him in, I think, the 11.
Understood, stopping this
lap. Of course, these guys, the guys ahead are still yet to pit, but of course, I told my guys to box this lap.
Keep an eye on your distance to the speed limit line as you approach, and make sure you don't speed.
But we're sort of toing and froing. I thought it was going to be either option. If Top Banter pits, then I'll stay out, but if Top Banter doesn't, then I'm going to come in and try maybe a bit of an undercut here, see whether we can get past Toppy B. But Mars Berserk, you saw, is out of the Grand Prix, so he's had a pretty terrible race, to be honest, as Berserk.
The gap to the car behind is 2.3 seconds.
Probably didn't help that he was having the few lobby issues along the way, but here we go, into the pit lane, making our, well, one and only stop. Probably will be another stop later on for the intermediates. Wet weather tyres anyway, but onto the mediums we go. Nice stop.
Exit now.
And the Toro Rosso boys. Now I was hoping to get out in a bit of clean air. Hoping to just stay ahead of Conrad straight, but Conrad just goes flying by there, so that probably wasn't ideal. But we do stay ahead of RBR. So that's an added bonus, albeit his tyres have been on, well, I think probably since lap 1, at the end of lap 1 anyway, so his tyres have probably been a little bit more worn out compared to mine, so we should be able to pull away there. This is the replay on board with fans. You saw there, Jared actually maintains the race lead even after the pit stops there, so Jared really being held up here by, he's getting out of the argy-bargy here on Matt, who, I mean, he's fighting for position here. But of course Matt is still yet to pit, but Jared going to go up the inside here. There's a little bit of a shove there to Matt, and gets him out of the way there and gets up into what's in position 8. There will be the effective race lead as Fens tries to get a good run here onto the front straight here. Doesn't quite get by him quickly, not this stage anyway, but he will finally get by him here with the DRS and overtake ERS. Should get up the inside here at the hairpin and should make it pretty simple. I think Matt will put up much of a fight there because, like I said, he's still yet to pit. Not sure what tyres Jarrett was on at that point. Possibly he's on the soft tyres, I'm not sure. Possibly could be on the medium, so you lot will have probably seen it on your screens anyway. But they're starting to slowly close in a bit on Conrad. He run very wide coming out of the carousel there. Now it should be able to get past him here, but what I wasn't really expecting was RBR to be also in the slipstream as well. We're going to go up the inside here at the inside of the hairpin, and wasn't exactly too thrilled about RBR going up the inside there of both of us there, because that probably would have hurt me quite a bit, because obviously he's still finding a way with Top Banter as he's finally now into the pit lane. Get a little bit of adjustment on the front wing and onto another set of soft tyres by the looks of things. We might have started on the mediums, I'm not sure, but this is critical actually, whether we've made the undercut work here. We may have just done it here around the outside of the turn 1. No, not quite. And yeah, I wasn't really too thrilled about that one, but I sort of, it can confirm it was actually a lag touch there. We'll get the footage actually from Top Banter in a second, but I think the rain is sort of slowly starting to appear now, so now we're way back in position, where are we, 13th or something. Here's the replay on board with Toppy B. So you see here, yeah, there's a bit of a lag touch there, so that probably had something to do with me, because I've been sort of lagging around a little bit there. This is the replay on board with RBR. Now, like I said, he had I wasn't really expecting him to go for the double move here up the inside. You see both guys getting the slipstream here. Obviously, I was trying to get past Conrod, trying not to be held up here. Yeah, I wasn't overly thrilled when RBR decided to go for that bit of a dive bomb there and get by both of us there. So, yeah, you can think about what you say about that one, but this is R8 into the pit lane as well, but he actually got held up a little bit behind Top Banter there. And you'll be able to see just ahead of it, that's me, obviously yours truly off to on the left there. So obviously that incident just occurred.
We can't take you right now. Pit in next lap.
I was actually trying to get a weather update. We'll get it now.
Light rain will stay with us for at least 20 minutes, maybe more. Light rain is here to stay. Dries seem like the best tyre for now. Our gap to the car in front is 2.6 seconds.
You saw then Kai was actually lost it off maybe the curb off turn 10 there. So yeah, I think the wet weather's slowly starting to set in, but not quite wet enough yet at this stage. But now here comes Fence, also trying to get past Laggy, who is probably one of the ones that was going to go out for the long strategy here. And obviously started on the medium tyres, going as long as he dared before the wet weather comes in. I think Jared is on the soft tyres from what I can tell there. There's R8 making the move here on Conrod up the hairpin. Push him a little bit wide there. There you go. So that's R8 up into 12th position and Conrod back to 13th. But we obviously, that was occurring ahead of us, but we're running a little bit wide here. And this is probably when the wet weather really started to set in here, because we're back down now, obviously in position 14. Wasn't fully wet at this stage, but just didn't feel comfortable in the conditions. And me personally, I don't really practice a lot with the wet weather conditions, to be honest, so that probably didn't really help me out at all. But coming, obviously, you saw around turn 6.
We'll receive you at the end of this lap. This light rain is going to be with us for a while now. Dries seem like the fastest tyre at the moment.
Now, sort of maybe going for a little bit of a gamble here, because I did tell the guys in the pit to obviously box his lap, but I didn't feel comfortable in this at all. I just thought maybe we might try a bit of a gamble here, maybe go into the intermediates early and maybe go for a little bit of a punt here as we run a little bit wide. The scene where Lewis Hamilton ran wide and probably lost the 2007 championship, I think it was. Of course, that was gravel back then, and obviously it's tarmac these days. But myself and Conrad here. Now, I actually thought Conrad was actually going to do the similar to me here, but as we now enter the pit lane, get a bit of a change on the front wing. I think it went up for the front wing in this stop.
Go now.
So we did originally get the jump on Conrad, but there was a bit of a lag moment there.
Okay, stay clear of the white line on the exit. We'll receive a penalty for dangerous driving if you cross over into the
obviously,
track.
I've gone on to intermediate tyres. He's gone on to softs. So I was a little bit surprised about that one. I thought Conrad may have tried a bit of a gamble there. He has tried it in the odd gamble in the past, but just going to see what the pace is like on these intermediate tyres, I suppose.
This rain could be with us for a while. Light rain conditions for the foreseeable future. Dries seem like the best tyre for now.
I thought that when I heard that point that the wet weather had set in, I thought maybe I made the right gamble, but maybe I went a little bit too early. But anyway, here's the replay. Got the split screen out again. This is Top Banter getting past RBR, and it was a Williams car there. I'm not sure which one it was. I think it was Matt. I could be wrong. But there's a difference in tyre compounds as well, because RBR's on the medium tyres, and I think he's been on those since lap 1. Obviously, Top Banter came in and put it on the soft tyres, which I didn't realise at that point in the race there. But at lap 16, quite get wet enough here. You see having a little bit of a slide there coming out of the carousel section there. but it wasn't quite wet enough at this, well, lap 16 anyway, but it could have gone wetter a couple of laps later. We see Laggy still struggling away here as there's a little bit of contact between he and Acho. I think it's...
okay, the gap behind is 4.0.
I think it's the outcome out of that was that Acho spun the car there, so those two did get tangled a little bit back at Bahrain. I think, yeah, Bahrain it was, yes. So, yeah, not ideal for those guys. I don't think for Acho especially. But anyway, there was a couple more guys that come into the pit lane. I think Calbo and Harry Ryan were the guys that come in. They have now gone onto the intermediate tyres, and this was probably the moment where I thought maybe the track was really starting to get a bit more greasier. And I think, obviously, you can tell we're a lot more closer to Conrod than we were before. So I think the dry tyres are probably not the ideal tyre at this point in the race here, but just still getting getting the turns with this dry to wet track anyway. So just going to size up, move around Conrad very, very shortly. I wasn't expecting maybe to get past him coming up here, but I wasn't actually expecting to go past him coming up to the hairpin there. As now DRS is now disabled, so I thought I made the right call at this point. But if you go to the inside here of Conrad, who's really starting to struggle there on the dries. And I think majority of the guys ahead have come into the pit lane. And once I thought maybe the gamble may have paid off.
Okay, the stewards have now disabled DRS. DRS is now disabled.
And once I saw when Matt was on the intermediate tyres, I thought, yeah, no, this race, that might be over there. His fans just comes in a little bit too hot into the pit lane and gets a 5-second stop-go penalty. So the wet weather is really setting in here. Now, obviously, Jared had come in, and I think a few others had come in, but with I think Prez had come in as well, which means RBR had to stay out another lap here. It was not ideal dry tyres on a wet track. As you can see, Top Banter coming into the pit lane. He's really struggling to make it in. Just going off with that little bit of tarmac bit that I did earlier on, but also Prez came in as well. As you can see these guys, but Top Banter actually had to wait a little bit longer, because I think his teammate Big Chungus came into the pit lane as well, so that's why the pit crews were a little bit later than normal. There's R8 now going on to the inters, so it's a little bit delayed there, but yeah, that's when my heart sank a little bit there. I thought, no, the gamble really hasn't paid off here as we get our first time penalty of the race. But yeah, gamble really hasn't paid off.
For a new strategy option.
It may have worked earlier, maybe if I go on for a little bit longer, but you see RBR is just creepy crawling literally around for this lap here. Gets passed by Laggy. We're getting a little bit close there with Alan Hugo, who goes by
0.1 seconds.
Also in the intermediate tyres, so he'll obviously drop away a little bit here. Now finally makes it just underneath the speed limit as well. Does RBR, but I think he's been on the medium. I could be wrong, but I think he's been on the medium tyres, like I said, since lap 1. Now he's off and onto the intermediate tyres. He will have lost a heap of time here. I think he'll drop behind. Not sure exactly where he come out. I'm not sure whether he'll be in the 10 or not, but there's my teammate who's also struggling in the wet weather conditions as well, by the looks of things.
We think he's got a time penalty.
And obviously, got a fairly decent gap behind to Harry Ryan, so it wasn't too fast at that stage, but he's obviously got some penalties up his sleeve, and R8's further 7+ seconds and not only 8 seconds further up the road here, so it's just pretty much just trying to get the foot down as best as possible.
The car in front is 7.4 seconds. They're on fresh inters. Their tyres are 1 lap old. The time last lap was a 2-minute 4.4. They have a time penalty of 3.0.6 seconds.
Yeah, it sort of gave me a little bit of hope that R8 had a 3-second time penalty, but yeah, with my pace in the wet weather, and you can see me struggling around here, I had to run wide between turns 9 and 10 and off the road, so my wet weather pace, it's probably going to be a long shot here whether to get past R8, so may have to settle for this position of P13 in lap 20. Not quite, as we lose the car coming out of the final corner.
Let's increase ERS deployment to up the pace.
We now finally get back going. Thankfully, I didn't. Well, I think I took out the DRS board. That was probably the only thing I took out. So we have lost all that gap behind to Harry, but you see we've now actually pulled out a little bit more of a gap. There's yellow flags in the mid-section there. So we lose the back end coming out of the carousel section again. Have to use every single bit of road there. I've literally had no other choice but to do it.
10 minutes left in this rain, then we think it's going to dry up. 10 minutes.
Yeah, I thought, yeah, that's just what we need, isn't it? To start dry, then go wet, then dry again. So to have a little moment there as we lose the back end, get a warning for that trouble.
Come on, mate, you can do it. It's been a tough race, but I know you're capable of getting more out of that car today. Dig deep, give us the best of your talent.
A nice bit of encouragement there for Jeff at this point. Like I said,
Okay, the gap behind is 6.8 seconds.
Having to consolidate this position, we'll get an update on Harry behind.
The gap behind us is 6.8 seconds. They're on old inters. Their tyres are 4 laps old. The time last lap was a 1 minute 48.1. They have a time penalty of 16.0.
And yeah, when I heard that, I was literally blown away. I'm like, how do you get 16 seconds worth of time penalties around China? Of all the tracks, I didn't think it was possible you could call the cut around here, but apparently it is. So, I mean, for Harry, it's his first season. I mean, he did race the last one in Bahrain, but I mean, it's been a while between drinks. I think for Harry, it was only his second race in a. Didn't compete too much in the first season. I don't think he actually competed around here in China because with all the chaos, I probably don't blame him for all the chaos that happened with Dominator and Brock Does stuff back in the Toro Rossos back in the day. But we're doing a fairly decentish job at the moment. We're still sliding around literally on that lap 23. Not much really happened on my screen, so we'll jump ahead and see what's going on further on. So this is RBR closing in on is that Matt for the final points was playing position as Matt runs a little bit wide coming out of that carousel section there. I'm not sure if it's even called the carousel section, but I'm calling it anyway. And a little bit close for comfort there is RBR as Matt tries to sort of squeeze into the inside line as much as he can, but it's probably all in vain. As RBR now goes up the inside there as Matt trying to crisscross. Try, but don't think he has the traction out of there, and RBR will get the final points making position now, chase after top banter.
Okay, you may start feeling some significant drop-off in grip around now. The data suggests the tyres are getting quite warm. They may not last much longer.
At that point, I was pretty much just trying to get as much water as I can on the tyres just to sort of keep them cool and obviously try not to wear them out too much for these latter parts. It's only like, well, on end of lap 24 now, so we've got another 4 laps to go here, 3-4 laps to go, so that doesn't really help my cause with tyre wear, but we'll get it on to lap 25 now, get an update.
Our gap to the car in front is 21.2 seconds. We're slower by 9/10 a lap. They're on old inters. Their tyres are 7 laps old. The time last lap was a 1:46.9. They have a time penalty of 3.0.
Yeah, I mean, that was all in vain, really, because I think the gap ahead's astronomical. I'm not sure exactly how far ahead.
It looks like we'll be running on a dry track soon. Back to dry shortly.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to get dry in about 3 laps anyway, but you see, I think it's about 20-odd second gap ahead to R8, so yeah, it's definitely going to be a long shot whether to get P12, unless he gets a massive amount of penalties like Harry behind. We're probably, again, like I said, settling for position 13 in this race, just trying to get a bit more cool water. We'll get an update on Harry.
The gap to the car behind is 6.6 seconds. They're on old inters. Their tyres are 9 laps old. The time last lap was a 1 minute 47.6. They have a time penalty of 19.0.
Who's now got an added extra time penalty to Harry, so yeah, I was still blown away at how he get 19 seconds behind.
Tries to overtake you, he has a time penalty. The gap to the car ahead is 21.7
turn 11 and 12 here. Just have a lot of understeer here, trying to get on the power and obviously spin the car. Going to do a full 360 at this point, so you'd say it's a bit of a burnout, but being over the course there, I nearly came back out into the path of Harry there, but thankfully I didn't. And then obviously Harry gets that
Try
spot
to stay
of
with him,
position
you might make a
13.
mistake. You can still
Me
regain the position.
back into position 14, but of course, you can see those rear tyres really starting to die off big time now towards this end of the end of the race. Anyway, but it goes. There's a battle here. Or top banter actually got a little bit maybe held up there by one of the McLarens. I think it may have been Kaiwas. Might help RBR here around the outside. There's a little bit of contact there, and it gets a little bit shoved wide. I think there's RBR just managing to hang on for in position 10. Obviously, it's pulled away actually from Matt, who's lost a lot of ground there. So may have something to do with tyre wear. I think it's a little bit too little, too late for that one, to be honest. But as now my teammate is now out of the Grand Prix, which is a bit of a shame, really, not having a great race. Was Plinier Montero, as you'll be able to see here in a second. Still keeping up with tabs here with Harry ahead, but there he is off to the left. So
we've only got 2 laps of fuel
maybe he's either done that on the curve going into turn 10 or the exit curve coming out of turn 10 there. But this is what's going on ahead here. It's pretty much not much happening on my screen, but just trying to RBR and the top band is still battling away here. This is on the penultimate lap here, I think. So RBR trying to look on the inside. Top bands all fight harder on the outside. It's literally these two are banging wheels. I think top band actually got a time penalty for his trouble for running just a tad wide. He'll have the inside line here. Does he brake too early? No, I think he just lost out there, and I think RBR's definitely got front wing damage. I think pushed top banter a little bit wide there. Between that and obviously top banter going in very, very deep there. So means top banter loses out there, and RBR, even with wing damage, will get up into P9.
Gap and let the car behind through.
We just managed to
final lap of the race.
Just managed to stay on the final lap. I was tempted to just go down a lap because I was just yeah. It's a race to forget pretty much, but I knew. Even if it was just getting another decent position in with P13, just keeping, obviously, with Harry as much as we can. We'll get another update how much penalties he's got in a second right now.
Gap to car in front is 2.8 seconds. You're losing 3 seconds a lap. They're on old Inters. Their tyres are 11 laps old. The time last lap was a 1:47.4. They have a time penalty of 19.0. Okay, gap ahead is 3.0 seconds.
So at this stage, we've got we dropped away a little bit there. You can see the rears. I was actually a little bit worried about the rear tyres getting to the critical phase. I think once you get over like 75% or something, then your tyres could easily blow up right at the end. But just taking it quite cautiously around here. Obviously, we're going to come across the line in position 14, but obviously with Harry's time penalties, it's a race to forget this one. So with Harry's time penalties, we will jump up to P13 just for good measure. I slam it into the wall.
Welcome then to the podium, our top 3 drivers. What a great effort from them today in a very difficult race.
So there you go. That is your podium for round number 3 here in China for AOR Oceania. So obviously Big Chungus, Warden, better known as in P1, DRC Jared, I think, in position 2, and Fens obviously in position 3. So a great job from those guys. They all had the pace, and I think Warden definitely benefited from that. I think starting on the harder compounds. I could be completely wrong, but he definitely has good wet weather pace, and especially around China. He has good pace around here. But anyway, there's the final race results there. So we'll be surprised if Warden went from mediums to inters. But there you go. It's him and Jared and Fens, 1, 2, 3. Alan Hugo in 4th. Laggy in 5th. HO back in 6th. Then you got Deathbro, Prez, RBR, and Top Banter rounding out your top 10. And myself, obviously, finishing up in P13. And only the 2 DNFs with my teammate, obviously, Plinier Montero, and Master Berserk, pretty much the only 2 DNFs of this race. So anyway, here's the driver standings after that. So Alan Hugo now has the championship lead, but still has the championship lead, I think, by 5 points over Big Chungus. Another 5 points back to V-Fens. Then you got DRC Jarrett, HO, who we got? Deathbro, Laggy, Top Banter, Prez, and R8. We're dropped back to position 14 actually, with still that singular point. Harry, RBR, Matt, Then obviously behind Gakai was Plenty Montero. Master Berserk still yet to score points. Conrod and Cowboy running out your 19 cars in this field. There's the Constructors' Championship. Ferrari extend their gap. I think it's 34 points over Force India. I think it is. You'll be able to see it on your screen. If I've got that wrong, I apologise. But Sauber in third, ahead of Mercedes in fourth, just ahead of Williams and Haas. And obviously Red Bull, Renault, and then obviously us, Toro Rosso, we don't move in P9, and McLaren running at your top 10. So there you go. That was round number 3 here in China. Sorry, it was probably a bit boring later on at the end of the race. But if you did enjoy it, be sure to give it a big smash on that like button. As always, you can leave your comments down below. Subscribe to my channel for plenty more AOR Oceania content on F1 2018, plus plenty more video gaming content as well. All my social media links, as always, will be down in the description. Plus, you can go check out I'll leave the links down below for the AOR website and the AOR YouTube channel, where you can check out all the races going on both here in Europe and Americas. Anyway, but yeah, next. And like I mentioned in the SRL video, there will be a lot more AOR Oceania videos coming out eventually. So just bear with me, guys and girls. They will be coming out. So yeah, until the next time, which will be the Austrian Grand Prix. Don't quote me on that one. It is goodbye, and I'll see you all next time.